What's going on, guys? I'm Chris, and today I'm going to be going through my entire Blu-ray collection. Now, I did a video about a year ago on the channel, so since then I've acquired a lot more Blu-rays, and I figured I might as well show them off to you guys because these videos tend to do well, and I know you guys enjoy them. I personally really have a lot of fun going through all my Blu-rays, so I'll go ahead and get right into them here in a second. I wanted to say, before I do this, there's one movie that I don't have on me right now. I'm letting a friend borrow it, and that is Christopher Nolan's The Prestige. I absolutely love that movie, but yeah, that's the only Blu-ray that I don't have on the shelf behind me. But without further ado, I'm going to get into it. I've got them in alphabetical order, and then I have my Criterions, MCU, Disney, and Pixar in their own sections. And if this is your first video, I hope you guys enjoy and consider checking out our other content such as movie reviews, rankings, and all that good stuff. Also, I wanted to say that the audio might not be the best when I'm recording because I'll be using my phone audio as opposed to the mic that I'm using right now. So I apologize in advance, but you'll still get to see the Blu-rays, and I hope you enjoy. So first up, we've got 21 Jump Street and 22 Jump Street. These are two of my favorite comedies from the past decade easily. Then we've got the Alfred Hitchcock Essentials Collection with Rear Window, Vertigo, North by Northwest, Psycho, and The Birds. Psycho being my favorite. I think it's probably one of my favorite horrors of all time. Then we've got Baby Driver, one of the best edited movies ever. It's such a feat, and it's really impressive, and the soundtrack is phenomenal. Back to the Future trilogy, 1.21 gigawatts, classic stuff. Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, and The Dark Knight Rises, one of the best trilogies of all time, and I really love this cover for The Dark Knight Rises. Then we've got The Big Lebowski. That's just like your opinion, man. One of my favorite comedies ever. Walter is it's one of the funniest characters, seriously, played by John Goodman. The Big Sick, a great underrated movie from 2017. Birdman, love this slipcover. Then we've got the Bourne trilogy with Identity, Supremacy, and Ultimatum. I still think Ultimatum is my favorite, but they're all really, really solid action movies. Braveheart, I can quote the entire speech, I won't do it right now, but an epic movie for sure. The Breakfast Club. Bullet, one of the best car chases in movie history. If you haven't seen Bullet, I highly recommend it. Then we've got Casablanca. Here's looking at you, kid. Casino Royale on 4K. A really great Bond movie, but it's not my favorite. I know that's a lot of people's. I actually prefer Skyfall. Catch Me If You Can. A really underappreciated Steven Spielberg film. Christmas Vacation. Cool Hand Luke. What we've got here is failure to communicate. Creed and Creed 2, both really great movies. I hope we get a third. Then we've got Dazed Confused. McConaughey's character, Wooderson, is one of my all-time favorite characters, and this is my number one coming-of-age movie. Then we have Deadpool and Deadpool 2. Really, really great R-rated comic movies. I think they changed the game. The Departed. Then we have Die Hard, Die Hard 2, and Die Hard with a Vengeance. I really do love the first three Die Hards. After that, I haven't really seen 4 in a long time, and 5 is not great at all. The Disaster Artist. Oh, hi, Mark. Django Unchained. What a great Tarantino flick. Donnie Darko. Talk about a cult classic, and Gyllenhaal is great. This movie will literally keep you up at night because it's so trippy. Dunkirk. I think this is one of the best war movies in recent years. Better than 1917, in my opinion. Elf. Hilarious Christmas movie. E.T. Classic Spielberg. Ferris Bueller's Day Off always made me want to skip school back in the day. I never did, but it made me want to. And Fight Club, I Broke the First Rule. Classic David Fincher movie. The Fighter, easily Christian Bale's best performance in my opinion. First Man, probably my least favorite. Actually, it is my least favorite Damien Chazelle movie, but visually stunning. And the score, gives me chills. Ford v Ferrari, one of my favorites from last year. Looks great on 4K. Forrest Gump, absolutely love this movie. Probably my top 20 of all time. Frosty the Snowman, a classic Christmas special. Get Out, I think this is Jordan Peele's best movie, and should have won Best Picture probably. Are you not entertained? Is this not why you're here? Gladiator, Joaquin gives a phenomenal performance, but Russell Crowe, man, he really kills it here, and this might be Ridley Scott's best movie. It's between this and Alien. Gone Girl, for some reason he always puts it backwards, so there's Gone Girl. David Fincher movies, they're like that, I don't know. Good Will Hunting, my boy's wicked smart. This is one of my favorite movies of all time. It's probably my top 10. Then we've got Goodfellas, a great Scorsese flick. Green Book, which I actually kind of like this movie. I'm not gonna lie, I don't see the hate. Hacksaw Ridge, a really great war movie directed by Mel Gibson. And Garfield probably gives his best performance between this and The Social Network for me. Halloween, the classic from 1978, and the 2018 sequel/reboot. I really enjoyed both those, especially watching them around Halloween. The Hateful Eight, the Harry Potter 8-film collection. I think that the score for Harry Potter might be one of the most iconic in movie history. It's great, and these movies are a ton of fun. I hadn't seen them for the first time until like 2018, but I love them. Heat, an underrated heist movie. Holes, talk about a childhood classic. Home Alone and Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, probably my two favorite Christmas movies. I adore them. Hoosiers, great basketball movie. The classic How the Grinch Stole Christmas, and the only way to watch this movie, I do not stand for the Jim Carrey version. Inception might be my favorite Nolan movie. Indiana Jones: The Complete Adventures. I love all three of these movies, and the fourth I actually do really like. I don't see the hate. It's kind of nostalgic for me. Inglourious Bastards. Gorlami. Antonio Margheriti. Yeah, I could quote this whole movie probably. It's one of my favorite Tarantinos. Interstellar. Probably a little too long, but I love it. It's a Wonderful Life. Well, you want the moon? I'll throw a lasso around and bring it down to you. Really classic movie, and it really is just powerful stuff. Great Christmas movie, too. Jackie Brown. Jaws, probably in my top 15. Joker. I mean, Joaquin gives a phenomenal performance. And Jurassic Park. Classic. Next up, we've got The Karate Kid, an 80s classic. Knives Out, definitely one of my favorites from last year, and Rian Johnson redeemed himself. La La Land, probably my second, if not my favorite musical of all time, and second favorite Damien Chazelle movie. I adored it. This is such a beautiful steelbook. Little Woman, another one of my favorites from last year. I wish that Florence Pugh and Saoirse Ronan won the Oscars. Logan. The Lord of the Rings trilogy. I really enjoy these movies. I need to revisit them soon for sure. The original Magnificent Seven with Steve McQueen and the Magnificent Seven remake directed by Anton Fuqua. This one is a super entertaining action movie, but the first one is just a classic to me. I grew up watching it. The Martian. Then you got Mary Poppins and Mary Poppins Returns. The first one's better, but they're both really solid Disney movies. Mid-90s. Talk about an underrated movie. 2018, Jonah Hill's directorial debut. Great coming-of-age flick. Miracle. Again. That scene gets me every time. It's very inspirational. Then we have Mission Impossible, the 5-movie collection, and Mission Impossible Fallout, so I own them all. Fallout's definitely my favorite, and then followed by Ghost Protocol, Rogue Nation, the original Mission Impossible, then probably MI3, then MI2. Moneyball, probably Brad Pitt's, I don't know, he's great in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. This might be his best performance, and Aaron Sorkin wrote the hell out of this movie. Mystic River, a really underrated movie. I don't think enough people talk about it, but it's probably my favorite Eastwood movie. And Tim Robbins and Sean Penn, phenomenal. No Country for Old Men, probably a masterpiece. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, love this movie, absolutely adore it. The Other Guys, I quote this movie all the time with my friends. It's just such a funny comedy. Parasite, the recent Best Picture winner, really great stuff. And I have the Peanuts Holiday Collection, mainly for Charlie Brown Christmas. Next up is the new Planet of the Apes trilogy with Rise, Dawn, and War. I think War is my favorite, followed by Dawn, then Rise, but it's really great stuff. Matt Reeves directed the last two so well. The Polar Express. Prisoners, one of the most robbed movies by the Oscars of all time. Literally should have gotten a Best Picture nomination, director. Both of them should have been nominated for acting. It's a crime. Pulp Fiction, one of my favorites of all time. A Quiet Place, cannot wait for part 2. Remember the Titans, a very relevant movie today, and my favorite sports movie of all time. I can quote a ton of this, and it's got a phenomenal soundtrack. Rocket Man. Rocky 1 through 6. The first one is a very motivational movie, and probably one of the most life-changing movies I've ever seen, because it really made me want to get fit and just achieve my goals, and the rest of them are entertaining. 5 is the only one that's really bad. Reservoir Dogs, classic Tarantino. Then we've got Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and Santa Claus is Coming to Town. Fun little Christmas specials. Continuing the Christmas theme is the Santa Claus 2, and Santa Claus 3. Obviously the first one's the best, but I like the second one still, and the third one's not my favorite, but it's still entertaining to me. School of Rock. And if you wanna be a teacher's pet. That song's been stuck in my head for weeks. Shawshank Redemption, an absolute classic that everyone should see at least once. The Shining, Here's Johnny. Silver Linings Playbook. Singing in the Rain, probably my favorite musical. Skyfall, my favorite 007 movie. And The Social Network, a great David Fincher movie. The Sound of Music, an absolute classic Best Picture winner. Everyone should see it. Spectre, kind of an underwhelming Bond movie. The Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy, great stuff. I can't wait to revisit this one soon. Into the Spider-Verse, probably the best animated superhero movie ever. A Star is Born, I think this was my favorite movie of 2018 at the time. It might be Infinity War now, but I love this movie. Then we have The Complete Saga, that's the original trilogy and the prequels. And then The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. I don't know why I own this movie, kind of a completionist, but I'm still not going to buy The Rise of Skywalker. Step Brothers, I know Trevor from Film Geeks loves this movie. I do too. It's one of the best comedies ever. It's so quotable. I would love to do a watch party of this one day. Superbad, my favorite comedy of all time. So great. McLovin. Talladega Nights. Taxi Driver, classic Scorsese. Ted, it's fine. I kind of bought it at the $5 bin. I don't know if I'll watch it anytime soon. This Is the End, an absolutely hilarious movie. Danny McBride steals the show. 3 Billboards. If Get Out didn't win Best Picture, I would have wanted this too. Obviously, neither of them did, but those would have been my 2 picks. Training Day. King Kong, you know the rest, but Denzel, probably his best performance, and I love this movie. Uncut Gems. Adam Sandler should have been nominated for an Oscar. I don't care what anyone says. Us. I love that steelbook. West Side Story. I cannot wait to see how Spielberg tackles this later this year. Whiplash, my current #1 favorite movie of all time. J.K. Simmons gives probably the best performance I've ever seen. It's fantastic. White Christmas, a fun little Christmas musical. And The Wizard of Oz, an absolute classic that everyone should see. And the last for the alphabetical order is The Wolf of Wall Street, which is Leo's best performance. Wonder Woman, my favorite DCEU movie, and Zombieland, a really underrated comedy. So now we're getting into the Walt Disney animated classic, starting off with Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Pinocchio, Peter Pan, 101 Dalmatians, absolutely beautiful steelbook, The Jungle Book, look for the bare necessities. I can't sing, but you get the point. Then we've got The Jungle Book live action, Little Mermaid, The Beauty and the Beast, and The Beauty and the Beast remake on steelbook. Then we've got Aladdin, a classic. The Lion King, my favorite Disney movie and animated movie of all time. This is seriously a masterpiece, and I could praise it all day. Tangled, a really, really great Disney movie. Wreck-It Ralph, underrated for sure. I think this should have won Best Animated Feature. Frozen, a little overrated, but I still do enjoy it. And Moana, one of the most beautiful Disney animations ever. So now we're getting into the MCU, starting off with Iron Man, one of my favorites for sure. The Incredible Hulk with the cool slipcover, even though it's a forgettable movie. Iron Man 2. Thor. Captain America: The First Avenger. After seeing Endgame, this movie went up drastically for me. It is so great. Then we have The First Avengers, a classic superhero movie, and one of the first movies I saw multiple times in theaters. Iron Man 3, kind of a disappointment. Then we've got Thor: The Dark World, worst MCU movie. The Winter Soldier, one of the best MCU movies. Guardians of the Galaxy, such a fun time and has one of the best soundtracks. Marvel really took a risk and it paid off. Age of Ultron, the worst Avengers movie, but I still enjoy it. Ant-Man, criminally underrated, and Paul Rudd, gotta love him. Civil War, talk about a badass movie. Doctor Strange, visually stunning to say the least. Guardians 2, I'm not crazy about this one if I'm being honest. Spider-Man Homecoming, one of my favorite Spider-Man movies. I just love the coming-of-age feel, and seeing the first accurate portrayal of Spider-Man as a high schooler is awesome. Thor Ragnarok, a beautiful steelbook, and Taika Waititi made a hilarious movie here. I love it. Black Panther, another cool steelbook, but a really overrated movie. Infinity War, a masterful film. Ant-Man and the Wasp, it's a fun time. Captain Marvel, very forgettable MCU movie. Avengers Endgame, and then I also have the steelbook because it's my favorite MCU movie. Talk about how to do a conclusion right. And Spider-Man Far From Home. I have a lot of fun with this, and seeing Gyllenhaal as Mysterio was awesome. So now we're getting into the Pixar movies. We've got Toy Story, Toy Story 2, Toy Story 3, probably my favorite Pixar movie, and Toy Story 4, my least favorite Toy Story, but I love all 4 of these movies so much. Really probably the best animated franchise ever. Monsters, Inc., classic stuff and a beautiful steelbook. Finding Nemo, I've seen this movie hundreds of times probably. Finding Dory, I enjoyed the sequel. The Incredibles, what a great movie. Incredibles 2, I haven't seen it since theaters actually. Ratatouille might be my favorite Pixar movie. It is between this and Toy Story 3. I love this movie. Up, a beautiful steelbook for a beautiful movie. Inside Out, I really would love to see a sequel to this. Coco, this movie got me at the end, really had the tears going. And Onward, one of my favorites from this year. So the last section is my Criterions, and I'm looking to expand those soon. I've got Silence of the Lambs, 12 Angry Men, the definitive black and white movie. On the Waterfront, here I'll pull it out. Great movie, might be Marlon Brando's best performance. The Princess Bride, a classic in my eyes, and The Great Escape, one of my favorite movies of all time. It blends the prison genre with the war movie genre perfectly, and that cover is just so cool. And last but not least, I've got Stranger Things Season 1 on the VHS Blu-ray, as well as Season 2. So we've made it to the end of my entire Blu-ray collection. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you've stuck around to the end, definitely consider hitting that like button and comment your favorite Blu-rays of mine down below, as well as the favorite Blu-rays that you own, because these things are just so addicting and fun to collect for some reason. I really don't know why. I guess we all just love movies, and I'm a big physical media guy, so yeah. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. It would mean a lot to me and my friend Andy, who I run the channel with. We have a ton of fun with what we're doing, and we're very close to 400 subscribers, so if you consider hitting that subscribe button, it would mean the world. And until next time, I'll see you guys later.